Speak positively about yourself and stop criticizing everything that you're doing. What is up? It is Dean Soto here again. If I sound weird, if I have a little bit of a high school, how do I want to say this? High school slur, it's because I have braces. I have these Invisalign type things. And I kind of sound like this sometimes. And it's very hard because I'm not quite used to these braces things. And maybe I'll take them out next time. I'm not sure. Anyway, all that being said, you are your own worst critic. I am my own worst critic. I was on a prospect call with a really important and a really impactful friend of mine. It's funny because I had only met him a couple of months ago at what's called the Wake Up Warrior King's Council. It's this kind of the higher end tier mastermind group of the whole wakeupwarrior.com type thing. You can't even find it unless you're a part of the whole system and stuff. So you can't really find it online. However, one of the things is that we all meet in Dana Point, California once a month. And usually it's kind of the middle of the month, and we'll spend 3 days really being honest, truthful, and powerful for each other. And these are all businessmen who are doing really well in their business, who want to have the best marriages possible. They want to have the best fitness in life possible and just be all around amazing, right? So when you are with these folks, they will, what we say in our world, they will kick you in the nuts if you're doing something that is not what you should be doing. And so one of the guys there, he's someone that I had just met, but when you're in this type of group, you feel like you've already known each other for a long time. And I was sharing with him something very personal. And rather than say, oh, dude, no, I totally get that. And that makes a lot of sense. And you're doing the right thing and everything like that. He basically told me, look, you are going down the path that is not going to be good for you. So you should go and change your habits by going and joining this other program called, I ended up joining a program for my marriage called Married Game by a guy named Keith Yackey. Awesome program. I think it's marriedgame.com now. And it completely changed my life. It completely changed how I interact not only with my wife, but with the world, with you right now. A lot of this stuff right now, I would be uncomfortable even talking about, sharing about. I could not do what I'm doing right now with you. I mean, you could go look at my past videos, but you would not see the same kind of passion, the same kind of openness, the same kind of desire to share what's really going on rather than just preach, tell the desire to share stories and so on. You would not see this in the old me. And if it was kind of masked in the persona of trying to be a YouTuber slash radio show host, and my voice would probably be really high like this and going, hey, how's it going? This is Dean Soto, and really trying to be entertaining, but not really truly be myself. Because this is how I talk right now, is how I talk with my good friends. And so right now, you are my good friend. So anyway, he's sharing, we're sitting down in the back area. It's kind of like a patio area over at Warrior HQ. And I shared those things. He shared back what he thought I should do. He didn't placate to what I desired and I wanted. And from that point on, my level of respect for him went really, really, really high, because that one ability to tell me the truth and to tell me not what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear completely changed everything. So I get on over a couple of months later, he reaches out to me on Slack, on one of the Slack channels that I'm on, and he says, "Hey, I would like to get a virtual systems architect from your company because I want to be able to build systems and also have somebody that can do the systems that I'm creating." And so I said, "Yeah, no problem, man. Let's hop on a call and see if it's a good fit." Because for me, you have to be a good fit, right? It's not just about you, what you want, but you have to be a good fit for my company. And that's one of the big things for us, is qualifying people to even be a part of this. So I already had an idea that it would be a good fit, but it's actually when I got onto the call that I almost had a little bit of doubt. I almost had, I kind of, the roles kind of switched, where I had to tell him a little bit of what he needed to hear. So he gets on the call, and we're chit-chatting and talking about life, and then we get into it. And he says, your whole thing about systemizing in 5 minutes a day, that tagline, what a great tagline. That's awesome. I know it's impossible. I know that's not a possibility. I know that that's just a way to, hook people in and everything like that. For me, I'm not good at systems. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. And I'm not, and he just kept on going with this litany of things that he was not good at doing when it came to scaling his business and delegating and hiring and all that other stuff. And I'm sitting there listening, and really taking in what he is saying, so that I could really feel and see where he's coming from. So I'm sitting there listening probably for about 15 minutes of how it's not possible to do all this stuff. But, what I could do is salvage what I am able to do, and maybe I'll turn my business into something that's good. So he finally stops sharing, and I start asking him a bunch of questions about what he's doing now. I start asking him a bunch of questions about the systems and processes and stuff that he has now. And ultimately, I start saying, "Whoa, that's amazing that you have processes. They might not be good processes, but you have a process that's working. You have systems that are working. You have things that are working for you right now. That is awesome. That's more than what most people have." And I'm just speaking positive vibes toward him. "Dude, you're crushing it. This is good. This is great. You got this. That's awesome." Well, the good news is, because you're already thinking that way, that 5 minutes a day thing that you think is impossible, it's not impossible. And I start explaining to him that literally all he has to do is sit down, press a button in the morning, talk through one of the things he's doing, press the stop button, and then send it to his virtual systems architect. They'll document the whole thing step by step, and then they can start doing it. And I said, you're already doing something that works. You're making money. You're doing well in your business. All you have to do is talk through what you're actually doing. That's it. And I kept on just really pouring into him that, look, you have done the hardest part. You built this thing that's actually generating revenue. That's the hardest part of everything. Now it's literally just pressing a button, talking. That's it. So that 5 minutes that you thought was impossible, 100% possible, dude. 100% possible. And by the end of the conversation, he understood, holy crap, this is possible. There is the ability. I do have the ability to make that happen, to systemize my business in 5 minutes a day, in as little as 5 minutes a day. And so anyway, he ended up moving forward, and he's getting his virtual systems architect and everything like that, and everything's awesome. But the whole point of this is all that negative talk, that criticism that he did to himself, the criticism that I do to myself, the criticism that you do to yourself, holds you back so much. I have had to get in the habit in the last year of speaking positively about myself. I was over at every week I get my car detailed at this detail shop, and there's a good friend that I had actually talked about in one of my previous videos. He details my car, but he's also very entrepreneurial and has all these ideas. And he asked me a question. He said, "Hey, so like, how do you see yourself?" Just out of the blue. And this was yesterday. And I said, "As a freaking sexy ass beast." What do you think I see myself as? And and he starts laughing. He's like, "I like that. That's awesome. That's awesome." I would have never said that a year ago. One, I probably wasn't. I had nice little man boobies and everything like that. I wasn't working out. Wasn't doing things that would make me that way. I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't doing anything else, right? But I would never speak that way. I would have this false humility where I'd be like, "Oh well, no, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just an average guy." Hmm. You know, if you look at the stats, I think I was what was I watching? I was watching something where if you are making over $200,000 in revenue a year, you're like among the top 8% or the 10% of men in America. And if you're making over 350,000 in revenue, you're among one of the top 1% of men in America, which is crazy to think about. And a lot of, if you're watching this and you're not at that point, you might be thinking $350,000. That'd be nice, and that's very hard to get to. I thought that same way too. 5 years ago, I was so excited to be even in that realm, right? And now I'm like, oh, that's not bad. You can make that really easily because mindset shift, right? The fact is, in reality, if you are not watching 5 hours of television, which is the average for the American male, you are working out, you have some kind of side business, even if that business is not profitable, and you have started up a corporation of some sort, talking about LLC or something like that, just the savings of taxes alone is something that puts you into a higher realm of individual. If you're married with kids and it's a thriving, happy marriage and your spiritual life is amazing, that alone is putting you in a realm of at least the top 10% of men in the world. If you measured not just money, but all of those, a lot of the times it'd probably be closer to 1%, because a lot of people who have money aren't very happy. And not saying that I know a lot of very happy people who have a lot of money, but some people, there's also those who are out of shape. Like I was out of shape. My marriage was up and down because of my drinking and everything like that. But the whole point of this is that if you're working hard at being better than the average, dude, you should be speaking so positively about yourself. You should be praising yourself all the time, because the more that you do that, the more you're going to grow exponentially. You're going to grow in ways where you in the next 3 to 5 years will be light years above the average person. Okay? So, speak kindly of yourself. Speak positively of yourself, and you'll reach heights that you never thought possible. So, if you have your own business and you are struggling on creating systems, putting things on autopilot, you want to delegate to people, but you don't know how. You want to build a team, but you don't know how. You want to build a team that is there to help you to grow, and is an investment that is so small compared to the investment that you would have to pay even for a high school student over here. It's like in California, a high school student is, you literally got to it's like almost $20 an hour. If you want to pay virtually half that, but have somebody who is absolutely the top 1% and top 1% in the world working for you, plus they're automating your business, plus they're documenting everything that you're doing, and so that you can scale in just infinitely. Go to prosulum.com. I highly advise you to go to prosulum.com, prosulum.com. Check out the links below. All of the links are there. Also have a free systemization course. If you go to that, the link, if you want to learn how to set things on autopilot, how to build systems so you don't have to work ungodly amount of hours, go check out that. There's a link in the description below. And I will see you in the next video.